DanDaDan's Season 2 is kicking off with an absolute bang. And while the Keto family is creepy as hell and the Tsuchinoko is an absolute unit, neither of them compare to the monster that is the Evil Eye. So today, I'm breaking down this season's biggest threat because we're talking DanDaDan's Evil Eye explained. But before we get into any of that, do me a favor and drop a like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any of this anime goodness. The first question we have to answer is what or who exactly is the Evil Eye? Well, the Evil Eye started out as this little emaciated kid with long white hair that the Keto family kept in this wooden cage so that they could use him as a sacrifice to the Tsuchinoko. But while he was there, all that kid wanted to do was to be able to go out and play with the other kids of the village. A while after being sacrificed by the Keto family, the Evil Eye actually returns as a spirit. And in that time, the Keto family has built a house on top of his sacrificial site. That's the first sacrificial house that Gigi now lives over. After returning, the Evil Eye still has that same dream of being able to play with the other kids, so it starts to appear before the kid of the family that lives in that house. What the Evil Eye doesn't seem to realize is that now that it's back, yes, it's a spirit, but it's also a curse. And so while it has completely innocent intentions in just wanting to play with and connect with other children still, its presence is having a negative impact on the family as a whole. While it can only be seen by the other child in the house, the parents, the adults in the house, are starting to have negative thoughts brought on by the Evil Eye's presence, causing them to eventually want to end things. Once the parents are driven over the edge, the child is left as an orphan, and the police and the Keto family show up to try to discuss what to now do with this child. The Keto family decides this child is going to be the next sacrifice to the mountain god. The Evil Eye obviously isn't okay with this and tries to save the child in the burning house. But he's unable to, and in trying to save him, this causes the Evil Eye and this child to eventually merge into one, and that's what causes the Evil Eye to take on the appearance of that large, purple, lanky man thing. This process would continue to repeat over and over, with the Keto family building a new house over the previous sacrificial site, and then eventually trying to sacrifice the child, while the Evil Eye tries to save the child. And eventually, as the centuries went on, the Evil Eye would develop a grudge against not only the Keto family anymore, but eventually all of humanity. This repeats until the present day when Gigi and his family move in. And Gigi happens to be different from all of the other children that had moved into the house prior. See, Gigi is actually a prodigy when it comes to spiritual powers, and on top of that, he's very athletic. So he's actually the ideal host for spiritual possession. This is very important for the Evil Eye specifically, though, because it's such a strong spirit that it needs a perfect vessel in order to possess something. Because anything less than a perfect vessel would eventually mentally and physically deteriorate. This causes the Evil Eye to actually target Gigi as a vessel instead of just as someone he wants to save. The Evil Eye would eventually get its wish in being able to possess Gigi, and in doing so it would change Gigi's appearance so that his skin and hair became ghostly white, his regular eyes became yellow, and it created a third eye in the middle of his forehead with a ripple pattern, kind of like the Rinnegan from Naruto. And the last change it made were these deep purple markings that framed his face and ended at his shoulders, kind of like a mask. So now that we've covered the Evil Eye's backstory and how and why it came to possessing Gigi, what all can the Evil Eye actually do? Well, originally it had the ability, just like other yokai, to possess people, but it doesn't really have that anymore because it possesses Gigi. And honestly, it wouldn't really want to anyway because, again, Gigi is such a perfect vessel for yokai. Another ability that it used to have that we don't ever see it really used once it possesses Gigi is the ability to drive people insane with direct eye contact. We see it use this against the Tsuchinoko to kind of counteract its ability to do the same thing through psychic waves. But once the Evil Eye possesses Gigi, again, we don't really see this ability come up again. The Evil Eye has one more ability that it seems to lose once it possesses Gigi, and that's the ability to share memories through direct eye contact. We see it do this with Gigi when it wants Gigi to kind of understand it. Now, this may come up again in some future arc, but as far as I know, it doesn't come up while he's possessing Gigi. At first glance, it would seem like the Evil Eye has lost a lot of its abilities since possessing Gigi, so what exactly were the benefits here? Well, in possessing Gigi, it grants him enhanced speed, strength, durability, and reflexes. But in addition to that, because of Gigi's incredible spiritual power, it gained the ability to summon the grudges from the people sacrificed by the Keto family and turn them into grudge constructs. It mainly does this in two ways. For offense, it generally uses its grudge ball, and for defense or containment, it uses its cursed house. Starting with the grudge ball, it's created when the Evil Eye compresses those grudges into a spherical shape. From there, it can kick, throw, or punch it at a target, and it'll lock onto that target, even ricocheting off of other things until it either hits the target or the Evil Eye calls it back. In addition to this, through some kind of physical force, usually a punch, the Evil Eye can split up the ball into multiple grudge balls, making it even harder for an enemy to dodge. Now, another way that the Evil Eye uses his grudge constructs is his cursed house, and he uses this to either entrap enemies or to defend himself. He is able to freely move in and out of it, but other people get rejected by the grudges, and so they can't enter or exit at will. So much so that when Granny Psycho tries to use a ward against it, it burns her hand and rejects her. Now, Evil Eye claims that it's inescapable and impenetrable, but this isn't technically true. Something with enough force can break out of it, as we see with Okarun, but you need as much or greater strength as Evil Eye himself to do so it's not exactly likely. The enhancement to Gigi's physicals that Evil Eye grants him aren't anything to scoff at either. See, while technically still slower than Okarun with Turbo Granny's powers, it's originally explained that he's able to do more within the same amount of time than Okarun is. Turbo Granny explains it as Okarun being able to do one action per beat. But like Iroh with the Acro Silky, Gigi with the Evil Eye is able to complete up to 4 actions per beat, so 4 times as much within the same amount of time. Turbo Granny then says that within his cursed house, Evil Eye is possibly able to complete up to 10 actions per beat, so 10 times as much as we've seen Okarun do. Just like Iroh and Okarun, Gigi is able to transform to and from the Evil Eye state. However, unlike them, it's not exactly at will. For him, it's based on whether he's hit by cold liquid or hot liquid, respectively. Cold liquid transforms him to Evil Eye, and hot liquid is used to transform him back to Gigi. Now, at first this might seem easy to manage, but think about how often you're touching a cold liquid throughout the day. If you're testing the water temperature for your shower or while washing your hands, even if you're just drinking cold water, that would transform Gigi into the Evil Eye. And you have to keep in mind, at this point, Evil Eye still has a grudge against all humans, so they kind of gotta avoid that at all costs. On top of that, the Evil Eye is smart, so he starts to plan every time he transforms so that he can take actions against the people who are trying to transform him back into Gigi. Now, they are eventually able to get this under control, because Okarun's able to bargain with the Evil Eye. See, he realizes that the Evil Eye sees the violence that he's committing as playing, and he's only ever wanted someone to play with, but he needs someone strong enough to play with, and that's where Okarun comes in. After training, Okarun was able to defeat the Evil Eye in a fight, and this is the first time the Evil Eye's ever played with someone on his level, and he wants to do it again. But Okarun says he'll only do it under certain conditions. And because the Evil Eye wants to preserve his play partner, he still wants to have someone to play with, he eventually agrees, and this is how Gigi's able to go back to living a normal life. And with that, we've covered pretty much everything there is to know about the Evil Eye. From his really rough backstory to his terrifying abilities, he's easily one of the most dangerous threats we've seen in DanDaDan so far. But I want to hear from you. Are you enjoying this arc? And are you excited to see Gigi finally get his time in the sun? And if you had to pick one of the yokai so far that we've seen possess people, which one would you want the powers from? Let me know down below. And while you're down there, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and ring that bell, because I'll have a new video out every single week. But until then, have a nice day.